All right, so it's another full roster of sport upon us this weekend, and like we always do on a Friday, we need to do a wrap-up of what's going to take place over the weekend. So to talk to us about all things sport, we've roped in award-winning journalist and sport analyst and commentator Khanyiso Tshwaku. Khanyiso, thanks so much for chatting to us. There is a lot taking place. We have to obviously start off with this CAF Champions League first leg final against Pyramids and Sundowns. Obviously, they're two major clubs. They're the billionaires clubs. They're both well-resourced clubs as well. However, Pyramids has a congested week coming into this encounter. What are your thoughts looking forward to this?
Good morning, Stacey, and good morning to the viewers. Look, I mean, they will probably need to learn from Sundowns in terms of how to manage those. If you remember, Mamelodi Sundowns have often battled over the past to manage the domestic load and the continental load. Fortunately, this season, things have worked out quite well for Sundowns in that they were able to complete their league program well before everyone else. They played their last league game on Saturday, so they pretty much have to focus on just the next two games. That's tomorrow's first leg at Loftus First for then next week, Sunday's second leg in Cairo. Following that, they've got the Club World Cup to deal with. So, look, I mean, Sundowns are pretty much for one of the few times the past 10 years actually have a schedule that's been reasonably kind, and I used to need to use the word reasonably kind for them to just have this particular final to look forward to and not have to worry about domestic duties.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that people have mentioned in terms of their squad depth and just in terms of the organization of the club. Obviously, Pyramids does have that type of expertise as well. What are you making, in terms of tactical decisions, in terms of what you think the strategies are going to be come Saturday with that first leg? Obviously, they're both going to want that first win.
Indeed, and I think what becomes key for Sundowns is that they found various ways of winning games. They found various ways of getting through ties. If you look at how they played against Al Ahly in the second leg, where they used a minimal opportunity to get that critical equalizer that allowed them to get to this particular game. I think in the past, Sundowns have often put a price on how they win instead of just winning. I think under Miguel Cardoso, they've kind of moved away from that prism where winning is just what they need to do. And I think what becomes important for Sundowns tomorrow is not to consider an away goal. If they're able to score goals and just prevent Pyramids from scoring, then it will probably set the cat amongst the pigeons. Pyramids did come to South Africa, got a goalless draw against Pirates, where they were comfortably the better side, and then scored the necessary goals to win the second leg. But I think for Sundowns would have known that they haven't actually won on the road yet. But when you're at this stage, you don't actually have to win. You just don't need to lose. And that's what Sundowns have done over the past quarterfinal and the semi-final stages. But I think in this particular juncture, they actually need to win and win quite comfortably to ensure that they don't have any hairy moments in Cairo next week.
Well, you mentioned the Club World Cup coming up in just over 3 weeks' time, mid-June. Two important stories that have come out of that. Luka Modric is obviously retiring or leaving Real Madrid, not necessarily retiring. And he said that he'll stay on until the Club World Cup, depending on how they do. And then there have been some unconfirmed reports around Cristiano Ronaldo and Al Nassr and potentially being courted by Wydad. Have you heard anything about that? Can you confirm anything for us about what you've been hearing and keeping your ears on the ground there?
Not at the moment. I think what becomes interesting in that it becomes clear if now Cristiano Ronaldo is being courted by Wydad Casablanca. Look, Wydad haven't actually had the best of seasons. They've parted ways with Rulani Mokoena. That just, I think, which is announced sometime during the week. Look, I think also it does well for the stature of what is already successful club. Also, it just boosts the profile of a very nascent tournament. The Club World Cup is a tournament that's still trying to find its baby steps, to find its place in the calendar. So having a bona fide star like Cristiano Ronaldo will do the tournament quite some big revealers. But also, to be fair, it's also got some serious European and Asian heavyweights. So I think the tournament itself, I think how it pans out will be quite interesting. But if it does contain a Cristiano Ronaldo playing for an African team, it then does become quite interesting.
Yeah. In the Betway Premiership, we know that it's coming to an end this weekend. Obviously, the top 8 is still not yet finalized, probably far from. Does Chiefs still have a chance to make it into that top 8?
Look, they'll need results to go their way. They were helped by Sundowns beating Chippa last week to win the title. But I think at this particular point in time, Polokwane City probably have not done themselves justice, especially in the last 3 months with their league form. That's not going to make it very easy for Kaizer Chiefs. But I mean, look, Kaizer Chiefs will look back and realize that one, they do have a trophy that they've won through the Nedbank Cup. They have qualified for the CAF Confederations Cup, but I think they will want to be in a position where they compete for at least 4 domestic competitions, that being MTN8, the Carling Black Label Cup, and the Nedbank Cup, along with the league. Well, they will be defending the Nedbank Cup anyway. But I think probably just finishing the top 8, yes, I think it also puts their fans at ease. Yes, the fans are not happy with the fact that out of 14 games, Chiefs have only won 3. Out of 15 games, Chiefs have only won 2. So their numbers aren't actually quite great at the moment from a league perspective, even though they have a cup competition to look forward. They have a cup competition that they've won already. But I think it will be an indication of whether Chiefs have either improved or stagnated under Nasreddin Nabi. But the key part is that they have something that they've taken home from what has been a difficult season for them. But I think finishing in the top 8 will make them feel more at ease with themselves.
Well, unfortunately, we've run out of time, Khanyiso. Thank you so much for that. I was still going to pick your brain about rugby, but we'll see if we can get some feedback from you, and I'll just mention it later on in the show. Thanks so much for taking the time out to chat to us this morning. We were chatting to sports analyst and commentator Khanyiso Tshwaku.